we had the Eagles and the Bucs. What's becoming a nice little rivalry between these two. It felt
Yeah.
heated today, not only just literally, but also figuratively. The Eagles won this game 31-25. Plenty of big plays, special teams, big plays on both sides on offense. Got some defensive big plays. Felt like everything kind of got crazy in the second half, but the Eagles take this one home. We had a 65-yard field goal in this game by Chase McLaughlin. Humid weather, that definitely helps. Baker, iffy day, up and down day. Hurts did enough. He had a nice little drive, I thought, to open the game and everything. But what'd you think about this Eagles win? What'd you think about the overall? What were your overall takeaways, Charles McDonald, about Bucs and Eagles?
Both. I know, one of these teams is going to end up 4-0 today, but man, both these teams feel pretty flawed. Just after watching them play, and not even just like today, like throughout the whole course of the season for the Eagles. Like the Eagles, they had another tale of two halves type of game, but this week they got their big performance in the first half. 28 plays, 200 yards, 7.2 yards per play, 4.25 yards per drive or points per drive. They were 70% dropback success rate, 63% rushing success rate, 100% red zone success rate. Like they were just absolutely killing them in the first half. And not even just that, but the defense played well too. They held Tampa Bay to 3.1 yards per play and a 33% dropback success rate. But in the second half, it's funny because if you just look at just the raw stats for the second half, you'll see the Eagles finished with -1 yards for the whole second half. But you do also remember they had the punt, running back for a safety to just kill clock on the last play games. That was for -34 yards. So really, before that play, they had run 29 plays for 33 yards in the second half. And before that final drive, they had run, 26 plays for 29 yards. So pretty rough in the second half. If you pull out that second drive, or you pull out that final drive for the Eagles where they just kind of milk the clock away, Jalen Hurts still finished with a 9% drop back success rate in the second half. Below 10% is really bad. So I'm still trying to shocking. Below 10%.
Thanks for clarifying. Really, I wasn't sure.
So I guess I'm still trying to figure out like where the Eagles are. And even like Tampa Bay, they had an interesting game where like in the second half they were better, but it didn't feel like they were ever like really consistent. I think it's even pulled back in some of the data when you look at 35% success rate in the second half, but almost 8 yards per play. Like they were just kind of living off chunks when they were able to get it, but they still felt like they were still trying to find their groove offensively in the second half. It never quite got there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt like that the Eagles defense really clamped down today, and you kind of felt the injuries for the Bucs O-line, that even though you get Tristan Wirfs back, you're still missing 2 starters on the right side. They had a 37% dropback success rate, which was their worst since the start of last year. So kind of this new era of Bucs offense. They only had, like you said, the 28% success rate in the run game, which was their third worst since the start of last year. Their second worst was last week against the Jets. Their fourth worst was week one against the Falcons, and only one explosive run. So it was tangible. It felt like that they just couldn't get really anything going. Even the 2 big plays were just kind of, one was a botch or a guy, kind of stumble, whatever, and then extended play. And the other was somehow didn't get picked off. A ball went through 2 Eagles defenders, and Ibuka, comes in scot-free. But I wanted to give a shout out to Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. I thought they were phenomenal today. They played out of their minds. DeJean had 8 solo tackles on top of 2 PBUs and on top of what should have been an interception, but got called back on a flea flicker. 4 of those were stops, which means we always talk about success rate. That means a successful play for the defense and unsuccessful play for the offense. And then Quinyon Mitchell also had 4 solo tackles. All of them were stops. Also, he was targeted 9 times today. He only allowed 2 catches for 6 yards, and the average separation on those targets was 0.8 yards. He had some nice plays. He had the one really nice one on Godwin, I thought, and I thought those 2 were just fantastic today. But you're right though. The Bucs offense just couldn't get going. I thought the Eagles, of course, controlled the whole game. The Bucs hung in there. They just kept hanging in there. But this is kind of what this offense feels like this year. A little bit more, especially with Mike Evans out, but a little bit more up and down, as opposed to last year, which was just one of the best offenses in the NFL. But yeah, I thought the Bucs defense though, they really stepped up. And our friend Keegan Abdu had the stat where the first half, Jalen Hurts had 16 pass attempts, 0 of them were tight window throws. And then the second half, he had 7 pass attempts, or at least for the time I looked at the stat, 5 of them were tight window throws. And you remember that sequence at the start of the fourth quarter? It was like pass AJ Brown, pass AJ Brown, pass AJ Brown. It was like PBU, PBU, PBU. And I was like, yeah. And, but this is what the Bucs do. This is a good team. They got the special team score. The Saquon Barkley touchdown off the tush push was really cool. They've done that before, but it was kind of nice to see it go for a touchdown as opposed to maybe just like a 4-yard gain or something. Got the shovel touchdown, Matt Canada style. And also had Jackson Dart also had a touchdown on that too to Theon Johnson. And then the Chiefs' favorite play, the little quad. They used to do that to Don Terry Poe. They did it to Dallas Goedert today.
Oh, yes.
Quad. And they just run them down screen basically. Yeah. But I thought they heated up Baker, and Baker had an awful interception at the end of the game. Under pressure today, Baker was 6 of 15 for 108 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And I just feel like that's how the Bucs are going to feel this year. A little bit. I think the defense is more steady, well, on top of the explosive stuff they can do. But I think the offense is just going to be up and down. Eagles pulled off as well.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay defense. I thought they did a pretty good job today, all things considered. Especially in the second half. If you just pull out the punter nonsense at the last play of the game, they held the Bucs. The Bucs held the Eagles to 26 carries for 75 yards on design rushes, and Barkley had 19 carries for 43 yards on those plays. And in the second half, they held Jalen Hurts to negative 18 net passing yards on 11 dropbacks and negative 0.9 EPA per dropback. So almost a full point of expected value lost on every Jalen Hurts dropback in the second half. So I can't figure out what the Eagles are, but they are 4-0. I know that for sure.
They just keep winning games. I know. That's why it's like one of the things they just always do this. I've learned like long ago to just understand that this is how it happens. It's funny because the first quarter of Jalen Hurts, I was like, hey, he's doing some nice stuff. He had a throw to his left to Devontae Smith where he actually like turned and threw it. And I was like, I've never seen you do that before. This is cool. And then it kind of the second half was kind of more I was expecting. But yeah, just to cap it off. Yeah, the Eagles had 0 explosive plays in the second half, 22% success rate, 9% passing success rate, like you said, and 28% rushing success rate. So it turned into a kind of a rock fight with a couple fireworks in the second half. But entertaining game, though. I was riveted by that game. I was watching every play, every series. So that one's going to be a fun one to review. All right, moving on to high number 2. This is the Steelers' dark magic continues. This time, international style to honor the Roonies. They played this game in Dublin. I don't know if they actually said that, but I'm just guessing the association here. Steelers win this game 24-21. I just want to start off before I kick it to you, Charles. I did not need to see 50-something dropbacks by Carson Wentz at 6:30 in the morning, West Coast time. I just did not need to start my day with 50 plus dropbacks from Carson Wentz. That's just and 6 sacks, 54 dropbacks, 6 sacks. He went 30-46 for 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. But this was kind of one of your nominees. So I want you to lead us off. What you thinking about the Steelers right now, who are 3-1 in the AFC North?
Yes. I think everything you said about Carson Wentz and how no one needs to see that is 100% spot on. I mean, I'm so good on watching that again for the rest of the season. But even then, they still had a chance to win that game at the end before maybe the worst, for sure this season, but one of the worst 2-minute drives I've ever seen that Carson Wentz tried to put together where every play just felt like straight chaos, throwing the ball in the coverage, interceptions getting dropped, and then eventually just couldn't close it on the 4th down. They barely moved the ball at all. But in the 4th quarter, the Vikings ran 22 plays for 192 yards, 8.7 yards per play, and they had a 68% success rate. And that's with, Carson Wentz leading this offense for – if you watch that game this morning, I don't really even know how to describe it. It was really bad for the first 3 quarters, and then it kind of caught fire in the 4th quarter, and kind of made a game at the end before they blew it. And I think that if you're a Steelers fan, that part should be kind of concerning, right? Where because if you have aspirations of like holding on to this division lead, I know we saw the Ravens today, but it's just hard not to believe that if this Lamar Jackson injury isn't too serious, that they'll be a threat to at least like catch up in the AFC North race. Just because of how talented those guys are. But to allow Carson Wentz to have a 0.7 EPA per dropback, they had a 66% rush success rate. 13.6% explosive play rate in the fourth quarter. That to me still shows that this defense is kind of leaky in a way that's
Yeah.
fairly concerning. But at least you got enough from the offense today to kind of hold them off. I thought it was a little bit of a better day for the offense. Kent Gainwell had a really strong day running the ball.
He did.
Really, the offensive line played pretty well in the run game, so that's a positive. But man, the Steelers defense is not looking very Steelersy, through the first month of the season.
Yeah, I agree. It was. I mean, Carson Wentz almost had a 50% dropback success rate today. So just even the full game, which felt pretty crappy from him, to be honest.
Right, it did not feel good.
Other than like, hey, where's Justin Jefferson at? It was kind of like, all right. I mean, he threw some balls behind. He threw one behind to Hawkinson that even Olsen was just like, you try to help out your quarterback and try to bail him out from time to time, but sometimes you only can do so much. Greg Olsen tries to be pretty, like good, like he doesn't kind of bash anybody, and that was kind of the meanest I've heard him get after a quarterback. But yeah. I mean, the Vikings had 7 explosive plays. This is what they all go for. But then, I mean, I just look back and I was like, I don't remember too many bad Steelers plays. There's the DK Metcalf like catch and run. I don't remember any like huge plays, but they just didn't have any bad plays. And then looking at the stats, it was like they didn't have many bad plays. 57% success rate, 64% passing success rate, and Aaron Rodgers only threw the ball past 10 yards 3 times, 10 or more air yards 3 times the entire game. Yeah. The one was the fade to DK Metcalf. One was the Metcalf catch and run, where Ivan Pace kind of got too wide as a hooked flat defender. And then I think one other incompletion. I can't remember, but 2 for 3. That's all. He only got pressured 5 times. So you mentioned the Steelers offensive line. Like Rodgers was getting rid of the ball quick. 16 of his passes were under 2.5, took 2.5 seconds time to throw. But he only got pressured 5 times. He went 2 of 3, 12 yards, and got sacked twice, which 40% pressure to sack rate. It's kind of funny. But that's kind of like, hey, if you're not going to pressure him, he can do this. Like, and I thought the Vikings got a little too cute sometimes on defense. They're trying some funky looks, and then like they got kind of caught. And there's some like gimmies that Rodgers had, and that's why he had all those successful passes throughout the day. Yeah, but he was 13 of 16, 174 yards. On throws that took 2.5 seconds or under. He's not great against the blitz still and against funky looks, but if you're just going to let him have free access throws, like he can just do this all day. But man, the Vikings O-line, O'Neal got hurt. Ryan Kelly got another concussion. Donovan Jackson's already hurt. Christian Darrisaw just got back from injury. It's like, oh man, I feel just weird about this Vikings team right now.
Yeah. I mean, they're just in such a weird spot with JJ hurt. He wasn't playing well. So right. Like you still got to figure out like how you manage that when he gets back, because it's not like Carson Wentz is particularly been playing well. And I know you look at some of the stats today and it feels good, because when you were saying Rodgers 10 yards plus 8 yards per attempt, that made me look at Carson Wentz for the day. He was 8 for 15, 216 yards, was averaging 0.9 EPA per dropback, 60% success rate, and a 46% explosive pass rate on those plays. I mean,
46?
40, yes, 46. 40. Yeah. On his pass for air yards, 10 or more. He went 8 for 15. I mean, dude, just a weird day from him where I swear he was not good if you watch this game, but did just enough to actually kind of keep them in there with some big plays. Yeah. The funny thing about Carson Wentz is like he still plays sometimes like he's physically is the guy from 2017 where he'll try to do like the dip under stuff and extend after the scramble and throw on the run, but not quite there anymore. It's not quite there anymore.
No, it's not 2017 ever again. Like he has the longest internal clock I've ever seen from like a long-term starter. He is bad. He's like, no, I get 4 Mississippis. Like you, 1 Mississippi, 2. He's like, no, I get all 4. Like there's no heating up Carson Wentz. He does not feel heat, and I mean that in the bad way. He has a sundial for a clock. So last thing is Croke Park seemed to be a fast track in Dublin. We had Peyton Wilson, linebacker for the Steelers, hit 22.48 miles an hour according to Next Gen Stats, fastest by a linebacker since at least 2018. And that was on the play. He ran down Jordan Addison, who broke 20 miles an hour, by the way. And people were like, oh, he's slow now. I mean, you hit 20 miles an hour. Well, come on. Right. And then Isaiah Rodgers, I was on the DK Metcalf catch and run. He had his block field goal as well, but he hit the fastest speed in Next Gen Stats' database on trying to run down DK Metcalf. He hit 23.32 miles an hour. Thought that was interesting. fast. I had people posting Usain Bolt stats. I'm like, that's great. I'm just sharing a factoid that I thought was interesting. Guy ran really fast and he looked really fast. And Isaiah Rodgers is looking like one of the best kind of free agent signings in the entire NFL. Like, I mean, he's been fantastic for the Vikings. So there's one bright spot, I guess, on that defense today. Who's the Jalen Redmond had some nice plays as well. I'll give him a shout out. But Steelers with the black magic, and I got to look at their schedule real quick before I kick it forward. They got Browns, Bengals, and then they host the Packers. That's fun. All right, that's fun. All right. So we got some good games coming up. And then Colts. All right, we're gonna go on now to high number 3. The Rams take down the high flying Colts. The Rams win 27-20. Very entertaining game. Some of Daniel Jones's BABIP, which I referred to on Thursday, kind of came back to haunt him with a couple picks, one at the end, beginning, one at the end, but still moved the ball very well today. I mean, Matthew Stafford found Xavier Howard somewhere in the first quarter, and it just was just kind of game over for the Colts defense after that point in time. Kind of capped off at the very end, Tutu Atwell, 88-yard touchdown. Very entertaining game, Chuck. Also featured an 80 Mitchell fumble through the end zone, which I'm sure you can't wait to hit on. But what were your takeaways from this game?
I mean, I don't know how they keep giving that guy the ball, and it's frustrating because he's obviously like clearly has some talent there. You know, I mean,
the fumble was he made a one-handed catch on his inside hand in coverage.
Exactly.
Like,
and then it's just
I was watching it on my phone because I was going down to my kitchen. And I go, Jim Bob Cooter called it. There he goes. Oh no. I saw him dive for the ball in the end zone. I was like, he fumbled it. Like that yes, you only act that way if you did a certain dumb thing. So yeah, continue.
Yeah. And then you see the camera angle from the shots from the side. He wasn't even close to the end zone before that ball came out of his hands. Like that was a fumble all the way. And then I kind of felt bad for him on the sideline because like he couldn't get over it. And obviously, having 7 points here instead of giving the ball back to the Rams would have been a little helpful at the end of the day. Yeah. So I can understand why he's upset. But man, it just seems like he keeps making like dumb mistakes. Like even last year, a more extreme version of it against the Broncos on the double pass when he's out there like it's Thanksgiving Day and flipping the ball and looking at the laces and patting it down and throws it across the field. And Nick Bonito just catches
all-time football 301 game, by the way. I think we're going to refer to that game for like for the rest of our lives. As long as I know you, for the rest of our lives, we're going to refer to that.
God, yeah. But yeah, 80 Mitchell again today just had another really bad play that hurt the Colts. But overall, man, I came away from this game feeling pretty impressed with the Colts, like because the Rams are a good team. I think we can say for sure Rams are a good team. So far, the Stafford back stuff hasn't popped up. He's looked great. The offense has been churning. The defense has been pretty good, and they even have some more strong moments today against the offense that's been lighting everyone on fire. But I still thought the Colts looked like a real football team. Like I think this should be probably close to like a top 10 offense for the rest of the season. Probably not blazing the world on fire. 4 points per drive, stuff like that. But if you just look at what they could have been, where they could have been at the end of the game, if A.D. Mitchell had just held onto the ball, that would have been there would have been a totally different ball game at the end of it, and they might have had a chance to go to overtime. But I know Daniel Jones didn't have his best day, but still, like they were functional enough in the passing game at times. Tyler Warren had a pretty big day. I mean, that Colts team, I think you just kind of got to give them props based on what the expectations were coming into the season, even though they did lay an egg at times today. That was a pretty strong performance, I thought.
They've looked like a playoff team. Like I mean,
right.
I'm not saying contender, but they look like a playoff team to me. Because like you said, I agree with you. I think the Rams are good. I think outside, you can run on the Rams a little bit, and their corners aren't the greatest, but they kind of know that, so they kind of do things to try and mitigate that. And I think they're really well coached and sound on defense, and they got a pass rush, which is the ultimate equalizer, especially in the playoffs. And I think for the Colts, they got some stuff to them on defense too. The Rams are a hard guard right now. Like there's not many teams slowing down this offense especially when they're clicking. I mean, Puka Nacua just in the first half went 7 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, there's not many teams are going to be stopping that because then it's like, oh yeah, and then there's Devontae Adams. Like the Devontae Adams touchdown, by the way, was hilarious from Stafford because they run so many high lows. Like if you ever watch the Rams, there's so many dig routes and so many underneath routes, and the tight end's underneath and he's open, and Stafford just skips it and just throws. No, I'm going to throw the dig like in between two guys. Like, nah, I don't need the easy throw. I'm going to take the hard throw. I got it for a touchdown. But getting back to the Colts, I feel pretty good about them. The designs are really cool. Jonathan Taylor, I know it wasn't a huge statistical day, but he had the one touchdown call back because of an 80 Mitchell hold. But that he looks so good. Like the run game looks good. I think Jones is more than capable. He's gonna have a couple dumb moments, but I don't know. He's been a good point shoot guy and progressing fine enough. I'm glad you mentioned Tyler Warren because I agree. I think they're doing some really cool design stuff with him. They gave him a handoff from fullback spot, ton of sail routes. They do some cool stuff with him. And then the Rams. I mean, they won the game. Jared Verse had 6 pressures, including 3 quick pressures. He detonated Bordolini on a third down where he was lined up over him, and he just full running start, timed up the snap, destroys him. I mean, poor Bordolini just had to eat it, and he tried to jump over him to make the sack. And then Cam Curl had a great game. Kobe Turner had some quick pressures, so there's just some good stuff, man. It was just I really enjoyed this game. I do have to say though, the big glaring weakness for that Colts team is Xavier Howard. And I mean it. That's second drive.
They're looking for him.
Puka Nacua has a crosser and then a go ball. And I was like, oh, this is going to be – he got targeted 10 times on 40 coverage snaps. So 25% of the time he was getting targeted. He allowed 7 receptions for 112 yards and 1 touchdown, which is actually the same that Nacua had. And then most of that was to Puka Nacua. But it was just the guy absolutely got decimated today. But, yeah, fun game. I thought this was just a super fun game. I got to see what their schedules are right now because
you can just see offenses looking for Xavier Howard now. That's multiple weeks where offense is like, where is he at? Where's that old man at?
That's what it is. Oh, I mean, because it was just anytime they were in man coverage, it felt like he got targeted, which helps. I mean, the end of the half drive, you just felt it from the Rams where it was like, you're going to single guard Devontae Adams? Okay, we'll go to him. Oh, you're going to single guard Puka Nacua? We're going to go to him. And then Nacua just is torching everybody right now. Colts got Raiders, Cardinals, Chargers, and then Titans because they get to play in that AFC South. And the Rams got 49ers, which would be a fun game Thursday night. And then they got at Ravens, at Jags, host Saints. So interesting schedule there for the Rams.